And we're back on your screens for more conversations. This time we're talking about this SSNIT Rock City Hotel saga. Yesterday, we saw that the executive director has mounted fresh defense on the need to sell 60% stake in those 4 plush hotels of SSNIT. Let's get on the phone with Abdallah Mashud. He's executive director of Africa Center for Retirement Research. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mashud. What do you make of this fresh defense to sell SSNIT? Or sell 60% stake in these 4 plush hotels?
Thank you for having me. What we saw yesterday was a deliberately manufactured PowerPoint presentation to justify the sale of SSNIT assets. In particular, the presentation highlighted a case of non-performance of the hotels over a period, and they need to sell them off. I did not hear anything specific about what results to expect from Rock City, the DG credit fund rendition. I remember when EcoBank was firing at the SSNIT, talking about the takeover, somewhere around April 75. There were 10 month projects in terms of what didn't expect timeline. And due process was done, we realized the outcome had been very, very, very too far. And it was actually kind of people at the time. The deep took physical the performance for hotels consistent, and presentation painted picture that the hotels are not yielding the desired. Hence, the approach just
Mr. Mashud.
And cannot the
hello, Mr. Mashud.
Hello.
If you can hear me, could you please reposition and take your submission again? I'm struggling to hear you. Also, beg pardon, I said sell SSNIT. I mean sell those 60% stake in the 4 plush hotels. You were saying?
Clearly. What I'm saying is that the DG spoke specifically about the performance of the 4 hotels under consideration. The presentation painted the picture that the hotels are not yielding the desired and paying dividends.
Right.
And I'm saying that the approach to the consideration will not and cannot deliver the needed results, considering the apparent record. The sales Rock City will represent major the portfolio mix. And here we are talking about critical, personal, practically. The area record lead investment to become large segment and somewhat lack of board management and health. I have declared that if transaction is success, it will mark the beginning of major support for the conflict went up. By the way, I want to see what happened to the test of organized labor this subject. What happened to the entire legislation on this subject? The right to public the president is to dig into the operational and job of assets on by cases. From a social security research point of view, it is a start step for social security in Ghana in terms of efficiency and sustainability. For me, it is time for us to hold a national stakeholder dialogue on how to improve the social security system overall.
We will try to see if we can clear up the line a bit, because I really didn't get anything you said. But, I mean, the latest on this SSNIT Rock City Hotel saga is that the Social Security and National Insurance Trust has mounted fresh defense to justify the sale of the 60% stake in those 4 plush hotels. And, you know, the controversy continues to linger. And they're saying that they've injected 200 million Ghana cedis so far of pension funds to remedy the failing hotels. But it still, you know, hasn't been fruitful. And so their only way out is to sell. Let's try and reconnect with Abdallah Mashud again and see if we can get him clearer this time. Mr. Mashud.
I can hear you clearly.
Great. So I was saying that I think I heard some bit about a diagnosis and something about not to sell. So could you just take all that again, briefly this time?
Yeah, so what I was saying is that the DG president spoke about the 4 hotels under consideration. And he painted a picture that the hotels are not yielding the dividends and all that. What I'm saying is that the approach or the route they are taking cannot and will not deliver the needed results, considering the acquiring entity's record. And I'm saying that the sale to Rock City will represent a major risk to the existing portfolio mix, and we are talking about critical operational and investment risk. What I'm saying is that I have say that that is selling certificate as individual. It is going to start the beginning of a major scramble for state property by selfish individual sectors. And I was asking, what happened to the state of organized labor on this subject? What happened to the NPRA letter to state on this subject? Again, the right approach to salvaging the alien investment of SSNIT is to dig into the operational and financial performance of all assets, and we have to see that case by case basis. I concluded by saying that from a social security point of view, or from a research point of view, it is a start period for social security in Ghana, and in terms of its efficiency and sustainability. And for me, it is time for us to hold a national stakeholder dialogue on how to improve the social security system overall.
On that directive that the NPRA, issued to halt the sale of SSNIT, I remember that the Director General of SSNIT, Kofi Bosompem Osafo, disclosed in a media engagement that they will halt the sale and proceed to probe further. Is it possible that it's the result of that probing that they've decided that, or they are defending now that they still need to sell these this 60% stake in these 4 hotels to Brian Champon?
Yes, so what should have happened? It is a case where you are regulating somebody and the person sees himself to be stronger than you. That is what is happening between SSNIT and the NPRA. Once NPRA issues a directive, because NPRA hierarchically is on top of SSNIT, once NPRA issues a directive, it has to really work. What we're expecting is that this presentation that we saw yesterday would have been part of the meeting that they had with the NPRA. And I'm sure if that were done, somehow we would have expected a different tone as far as the letter of NPRA is concerned. It is important for us to really understand that NPRA has done its analysis, looking at the investment policy guidelines, looking at the interest of the constituents, and has come out with a position that, look, you have to hold this one. I believe they did all of that, and that was what informed the position that they took. So halting is the best way to go, and even, just taking it off is the best way to go. Suspension is not a good thing, halting is not a good thing. It's practically, out of line as far as best practices are concerned. So it is important they go in line with the NPRA directive to halt it, and to just understand that this is going to introduce a lot of risk to the investment portfolio mix as far as social security in Ghana is concerned. Well,
there's also that Shraj investigation that is still pending. But, Mr. Mashud, what other options could they have considered?
You're talking about...
Yes. Or should they consider?
What happens is that, if you look at the 4 hotels, they painted the picture that Labadi is doing very well. Best practice requires that you have to copy the model of the portfolio that is doing well and replicate it at the other sides that are not doing well. And basically, it has to do with management, it has to do with operational. Once you go in there and you trick them, especially copying from the model of investments that are doing well, in no time, you are going to find that those investments that were not doing well will pick up and go in. So what we have to do is that we have to pick the model of the one that is doing well, that is Labadi, replicate it on the other 3. And we are going on. I hear they talk about...
Mr. Mashud, but he said that Labadi only started making profit 2 years ago. So maybe is it too early to emulate the strategy they're using for that hotel?
I'm sure the results did not come by chance. They would have changed 1 or 2 things in there in order to get it to be given the results. Even though it's just 2 years ago, but I'm sure the results did not just begin to happen by chance. They would have changed 1 or 2 things there, and that is what is making it work. So the suggestion here is that they would have to replicate what Labadi is currently doing and use it on the others. And certainly, the other 3 will be up and going.
What then is the position of the Africa Center for Retirement Research? Are you saying that this, first of all...
Like I said, yes, from the research point of view, if you look at best practices and standards, the approach that the trust is using right now, that is to sell shares to an entity that hasn't got any good record, We haven't actually done diligence and all that. That brings to this a lot of risk to the existing portfolio mix. And of course, to realize that in the past, they have been recording negative risk on their investment. And it's all because bad or bad institution. Attributable, effective management and what is the board. It is important that the host and it is not in the best the Ghanaian future. I it was just at least the only already what is present.
Thank you so much, Abdullah Mashud, Executive Director for Africa Center for Retirement Research. Maybe in a subsequent bulletin, when we get you, we can bring you a more clearer sound. And apologies for that. Right.